Welcome back to your next video in our series Drawing 101. And we've been looking at lines. So now I'm going to show you a line that is very different from gesture drawing, and it is called a contour. So a contour is a line that defines a form or the edge of the form. And essentially it's the drawing of an outline of an object. So you've probably been drawing contours all along, you just didn't know what they were called. In the most basic form, we will look at contour as an outline drawing. So we're gonna take a look at our subject and really focus on the edges and use those edges to help depict it on the page. So this is one of the first ways we learn how to draw, because we take out shading, we take out toning, we take out colors, and we break it down into its purest, most simplest form. It's lines. So I'm going to break down contour drawing with you and give you a couple of tips along the way. And as I give you these tips, I have a few activities to help you really get contour line drawing down. And I'm excited to get that started. So let's go. So when I am beginning contour drawing, you're going to see that I start out a little bit like I did with our gesture drawing. And what I'm doing is I'm just making marks on the page how big this drawing is going to get. But the thing with contour is it's going to take a little bit more time. And it can be really tempting to rush through a contour drawing exercise, especially if you're used to drawing detailed pieces where an outline is only the first step. But remind yourself to slow down and to concentrate on replicating the outline of the object as perfectly as you can. So here you can see, as I'm going through drawing a hand, I'm marking off those big shapes like we talked about before, but now I'm going in with a very fine line, and I'm slowly moving through my subject. So I really like to start contour drawing by trying to make my line as continuous as possible. So you can see I'm mostly keeping my pencil on the page, trying to connect the line between each form. This clears me from making too many, from stopping and working on and focusing on my mistakes. Instead, I just move right through my subject. Because what I really want to do is spend more time focusing on my subject rather than my drawing. So again, with these seashells, they're a great subject. So if you have some seashells at home, they're fantastic. But if you don't, you always have your hand to use as a reference. But you can see I lightly kind of lay out how big I want it to get. And then I start to go in with a more solid, clean line. Now I'm going to add some line weight. So you can see there's a heavier line where there's shadows. So again, I'm implying that there's a shadow on that form. So for this shell, again, I'm starting with a very light sketch, but then I'm going to try to stay as continuous with my line as I possibly can until I want to imply something with a line. So really working on improving our hand-eye coordination with contour line drawings. And another way to do it is to really look at it from a different perspective. So, spinning your sketchbook upside down, moving through your subject. It can be super, super tempting to rush through this, but take your time. Contour drawings definitely take more time than gesture drawings. Another subject that is really, really good for contour line drawings is nature. So I have these little succulents. This one's a fake succulent, but I have them, and what is really interesting about it, you could see when I started this drawing, I made marks. I made marks for how far each piece is going to go, and then I'm starting to move towards a more solid line. In this one, I erased a little bit more than the others because I wanted to show you if I start to attempt a more finalized drawing, how do I put it all together? And then I'm going to really, really move towards that continuous contour line as I develop my subject. So although we are not shading in these drawings, they're going to be completely comprised of line. You're going to see that I started to use line to show where I'm seeing the shadows hit. So I'm using a thicker line, and I'm also creating little chunks inside of my subject to show that there's a shadow there.